Hello everyone! Thank you for visiting our YouTube channel. For today's video, my partner, ZOE Mantiquilla, and I, FRETCHIE CADUNGOG, will talk about the organization of plant body. Let us start with a simple definition of organization and plant body. The plant body of most vascular plants consists of an above-ground part, the shoot system, which includes stems, leaves, buds, flowers, and fruits, and the below-ground part, the root system, composed of main roots and branches. This above ground and below ground is consist of plant cells and tissues. So, what is this plant cells and tissues? Plants are consist of many different types of cells that are organized into aggregates called tissues. Tissues are derived from specialized group of dividing cells. The organs of the plant, leaves, stems, roots, and flower parts are composed of tissue arranged in different patterns. Tissues in the plant's body are made up of both living and dead cells. Let us now tackle about the main tissues of plant system that are grouped in three systems. These systems are the ground tissue system, vascular tissue system, and the dermal tissue system. First is the ground tissue system. Ground tissue system. Ground tissues synthesize organic compounds and provide support to the plant. In some cases, the ground tissue also stores food in the form of starch. We have three tissue types under ground tissue. We have the parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. The next tissue are the vascular tissue system, a complicated network of conducting tissues that interconnects all organs and transport water, minerals, nutrients, organic compounds, and various signaling molecules throughout the plant body. Under vascular tissue system, we have two tissue types, the xylem and the phloem. And the last system, the dermal tissue system, the thin layer of cells and protects the soft tissues of plants and controls interaction with the plant's surroundings. We have two tissue types under dermal tissue system. These are the epidermis and the peridermis. Let us now proceed to the two types of tissue, the simple tissue and the complex tissue. So, we have first the simple tissues. The definition of simple tissues are the tissues that are made up of only a single type of cell that looks like each other. Under simple tissue, we have the parenchyma. Parenchyma cells are usually somewhat spherical or elongated, but they may have diverse shapes. They usually have a thin primary cell wall, but they may have a secondary wall which is sometimes lignified. Collenchyma. Collenchyma is a tissue specialized to support young stem and leaf petioles. This is the leaf part that holds the leaf blade to the stem. Its cells are often the outermost cells of the cortex, being just inside the epidermis in young stems and the petioles of leaves. Collenchyma cells are elongated, often contain chloroplasts and living at maturity. The last under simple tissues are sclerenchyma. The cells making sclerenchyma tissue are rigid and function to support the weight of a plant organ. There are two types of sclerenchyma cells, fibers and sclerides. These cells tend to have thick, lignified secondary walls. They are dead at maturity. Let us now proceed to complex tissue. A complex tissue, it is a kind of tissue that is made up of more than one type of cell, and all the cells coordinate to perform a common function. Complex tissue make up the plant's vascular system and outer covering, which means complex tissue is made up of the vascular system and the dermal system. The first tissue is the xylem. It is a complex tissue made up of different kinds of cells that work together to transport water and dissolve minerals. The cells type found in xylem are the water-conducting cells, tracheids, vessel members, fiber, and parenchyma cells. Phloem. is the tissue that transports sugar through the plant. Primary phloem occurs in vascular bundles near the primary xylem in young stems and leaves, and in the vascular cylinder in roots. Secondary phloem occurs outside the secondary xylem in older stems and roots, usually in plants that live more than 1 year. Let's now proceed to the outer covering under complex tissue. First is the epidermis. The epidermis is the outer covering of the plant. It is a complex tissue composed of epidermal cells, guard cells, and trichomes or hairs of various types. The epidermis is usually one layer of cells, but it may be as many as 5 or 6 layers in the leaves of some succulent plants and in the aerial roots of certain orchids. The last complex tissue is the periderm. The periderm is a protective layer that forms in older stems and roots after those organs expand and the epidermis splits and is lost. It is a secondary tissue. This tissue is several cells, layers deep, and is composed of phloem, the cork, cells on the outside, a layer of dividing cells, the phloem or the cork combium, and the phloderm toward the inside. Let us now proceed to meristem, which will be discussed by my partner, Zoe.
Meristem. Meristem, it is where the cell divide. A meristem is a site in the plant body where the new cells form and the complex processes of growth and differentiation are initiated. Growth means the irreversible increase in size that comes from both cell division and cell enlargement. Cell differentiation refers to the changes that the cell undergoes structurally and biochemically so that it can perform a specialized function. Since cells and tissues are derived from meristems, we do not consider meristems themselves to be tissues. There are different categories of meristems, each with specific function. Shoot and root apical meristems are at the tips of the branches and roots. They are the ultimate sources of all cells in the plant. As you can see in the picture, there are 2 primary meristems. The first one is at the tip of the branches of the plants, and the second one is at the bottom, where it is the roots of the plant. And also there is the secondary meristems, wherein it is in between of the 2 primary meristems. So these are the summary of our presentation. Thank you for listening and watching our video, and I hope that you learned something from us. Goodbye and thank you once again.